MasterBoris is back with a new video. What's good in the hood? Chicken nuggets with some hot sauce and combos. We got something to talk about, man. Um, Sony PlayStation is being disingenuous yet again with this whole digital sales thing, and you know, you have to like really understand that this is all according to plan. Noshido is being told what to do by the main Sony group, which Sony PlayStation is under. All this stuff about going all digital, all the other plans they plan on doing due to having more of a stability according to the Sony group head. That's all on the company, as a whole. That's in the main office. Okay. Sony PlayStation has no say in the matter. Even if they didn't want to do this, they have to. But I want to read an article to you guys, that I got on my email day before yesterday. Want to share that with y'all, you know what I'm saying? They got, petitions about don't kill the disc and all that. And I'm just like, all this petitions and stuff like that. I mean, it's gonna happen either way, about this whole going all digital thing with this. And in Sony's case, this is what they want to do. But I'm gonna read this to y'all real quick. So there is a new stat spreading fast across gaming media this week. Only 7 PlayStation games have sold more than 100,000 physical copies in the U.S. so far this year, according to Circana, the industry data tracker and analyst Matt Piscatella. Let me say something about that. Okay, what are the 7 PlayStation games? And Matt Piscatella, he's not reliable because he be cherry picking on what sells and what doesn't. And most of the time, he don't even get all the physical copies or digital copies of certain games. He don't even record them. He just pick and choose what's what. So it fits his own narrative on things. But there will be times he don't have no choice because, like, let's say for games like from Nintendo, he don't really post like Nintendo stats of copies that it sold. So he's not very reliable, and you need to go somewhere else. Like go to Japan sales, Japan Industries data trackers. But anyway. It's been shared everywhere in the past few days. What's missing from almost every repost is the obvious next question. Is that actually a low number or does it just sound like one? It has no comparison point. Neither Circana or anyone else has published the same number looked like in 2025, 2024, or any other recent year. That's facts. And stat with 0 historical baseline isn't proof of a decline. It's just a number that sounds small in isolation. Before only 7 get treated as case closed, the obvious question is, only 7 compared to what? Exactly. Like, compared to what? Talking about the digital sales? That's the point they try to prove. See, we got all these false narratives going on here to justify what they're going to do in the future. And it's weak as hell to me. The timing of the measurement matters too. This covers only January through June. Before a single major Q4 release has shipped, the window that's historically the strongest for the industry. December alone accounts roughly 11% of all U.S. video game spending in a given year, well above what you expect from the average month. Measuring physical health uses 6 months before the year's biggest sales window, and skipping that window entirely isn't fair of the format. It also hides more than it shows. Neither Circana nor Sony has set it far past 100K. Any of these titles actually got. Resident Evil Requiem sold out at launch this year. It didn't see a restock for a month. Yes, that's facts, because I witnessed that. Not because buyers weren't there. It sold millions of copies globally, but because far fewer discs were printed than the game could have sold. Only 7 crossed the line. Sounds a lot more dire when you don't know if it means barely over the threshold or several times past it. And supply constraints may also be part of the story. And it's USA only. This says nothing about Canada, the UK, Japan, or anywhere else physical retail still plays a real role. And also, Japan is still about physical retail, even though digital, probably would sell more, but it ain't selling astronomically more, as Sony was saying. Japan is going to have special editions of certain games that come out, and it's going to be sell physical. But I'm going to get to that in a minute because there's some other company I want to talk about here, and we don't have to guess what that looks like. As a retail and distributor base right here in Canada, our physical game sales are up by double digits in 2026 compared to last year. That's not a coincidence, and it's not a nostalgia. People are still buying physical games in real numbers in the middle of the exact narrative claiming they aren't. Exactly. One more thing before worth asking is the shift away from physical actually making the industry healthier. Xbox just went through one of the largest single layoffs in gaming history. 5 studios facing closure, thousands of job cuts, and tied by multiple reports directly how Game Pass accounting handles revenue. Studio hitting real player milestones were still counted as underperforming. Microsoft spent $20 billion on gaming over the 5 years while running a margin near 3% against the industry standard, reported closer to 17 to 22%. At their own internal memo, acknowledged the returns weren't there. We're not suggesting digital distribution caused every challenge Xbox is facing, but it's reasonable to question whenever a future built around subscriptions and digital-only distribution has delivered the healthy industry many promised. Xbox pursued that strategies more aggressively than anyone else, and it's also endured repeated rounds of layoffs, studio closures, and canceled projects. Sony take a hard look at where the road leads. Killing physical isn't a step towards a safer future for PlayStation. It's a step towards becoming Xbox. This isn't just about whenever the numbers add up. Consumer choice isn't determined solely by a majority preference. The value of an option isn't measured only by how many people use it, but by what people lose when that option disappears. To be clear about what we're actually asking for, nobody's asking Sony to kill digital. Millions of people would prefer it, and that's fine. We're asking for physical to remain a real option for a large number of people who still want it, including me. The same option Sony has offered support for the entire PlayStation era until now. But yeah, this is by Jade Pierce. Shout outs to you. And yeah, I mean, look, PlayStation PSN was down for many people, yesterday. And if the servers are down, you can't play your games. In an all digital world, which they were trying to make it prominent to the gaming space, that's gonna suck. Okay? You're not gonna be able to play your games if you don't have a disc to play it on. They were trying to make it all digital. Or anything else for that matter. Because they're trying to make this a digital society. You be tied to buy the digital ID. Like I said before in my previous video, they're attacking gamers first. It's an all-pincer attack from all things that's going on in society today. So, I also want to talk about this before I go, right? So, I found this on Twitter about the president of SEGA, Usami. SEGA is not abandoning physical media. He said he has spoken about what he considers especially important for the sales and the current landscape of gaming. So according to Usami, the full console and PC gaming digitalization is becoming increasingly important. While consoles remains important, the proportion of PC gamers keep growing. Even in regions where consoles aren't very widespread, more and more people are saying, I can play it on PC. To boost that market, Usami considered it's crucial to straighten the digital strategy. He also acknowledged that they tend to think too much from a physical perspective due to the history, and that they need to find a balance between digital and physical from a global perspective. Regarding to the physical format, Usami clarifies that Sega still values its physical culture. After all, they originally were platform suppliers. They won't abandon it completely. What they are doing is adapted to work on important aspects of both the digital and physical worlds in parallel. A realistic stance, you can't ignore the growth of digital, but he knows that a large part of their audience still wants the physical format. Do you think Sega will still manage to balance between both formats, or they will get swept in the trend? Now, if y'all see my videos, my previous videos, this is Utsumi right here. Sega has a wide open shot as a right now to get back in the console market. They're talking about bringing back the Dreamcast era. Now it's the time to really do that and then some. You got NVIDIA on your side. I mean, they just a couple of days ago just celebrated, 30 plus years of NVIDIA being afloat due to Sega. Due to Sega understanding their vision and giving them $5 million to stay afloat, because back in '95, NVIDIA was almost about to be done. So if it wasn't for Sega, NVIDIA wouldn't be a $1 trillion company they are today. So get with them. Tell Jensen Huang, hey, we want the best. The best design for this new Sega console. We're getting all our Sega libraries into this system. You can only play it on this system. Taking everything out, like including Sonic, Persona, Yakuza, all that. And they also need to get rid of that deal with Microsoft. The whole Crazy Taxi, Stranger in Heaven thing. They also need to get rid of that and do their own thing. And I'm seeing a lot of people in the comments, they're not really saying what I'm saying right now. They're like, okay, what are they going to do if things are all digital? But, like I said before, they might come back to the console market. It's wide open. Consumers are losing faith in Sony. Now, the reason why Sega probably didn't go to the console market for real is they didn't know how to compete with the Blu-ray disc. And now things hit the fan with Sony, and obviously they don't care about going all digital after January 2028. Sega could just go in and make a change for the better in the gaming industry, like they always did in the past. You understand, Sega made new genres of video games. They're the only company to do so. And there will be no doubt in my mind that they could do damage. You know what I'm saying? They can get people to buy their games, buy their game system, if they was to go back to the console market and keep the physical format. That's how they're going to win. I mean, there's more to it, but yeah, I want y'all to hit me up in the comment section and tell me what y'all think about this whole situation. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new. I do a variety of videos here, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.